Hi, Todd VanDenburg here with VanDenburg Capital Management and another Uncommon Sense update. So since our last update, the Dow's sort of floating around 28,300. It has made some reasonable gains in the last several weeks. After Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, that's not why the market has done well, but I think it's done well maybe in spite of that. But who knows what we're going to see in the coming weeks. We have just about 2 weeks until the presidential election, and volatility could very easily pick up in the next 2 weeks and in the couple of weeks after, because we just have to acknowledge that given how many people are voting by mail, it's going to break every record for every mail-in voting we've ever had in our country. We shouldn't expect to really know who's going to win or who won for maybe a week or two or even more, as we try to count all these ballots, and then there's likely going to be litigation because some ballots are not going to look quite right. And if this sounds familiar to any of you, just think of the term hanging chads and Bush v. Gore, and then you can probably expect to see that kind of stuff when we get through the election this time. So just be prepared for volatility. And if we don't get it, that's just awesome. If the markets are stable, through the election, that would be a nice change of pace given what we've seen since February, March. As far as economic news, we're going to see the GDP numbers are going to get released here probably in about a week. And we're going to see a number that's going to be the biggest GDP growth that our country's ever seen by a long shot. But we don't want to get too excited about that because we really had to have the economy crater for a few months in order to have a GDP number that can be as good as what we're likely to see. It could be up 30-ish% in the third quarter. So just be prepared for that number. Don't get too excited about it. And if it's only 25%, don't get depressed about it. Now, if it comes in at 15%, then that would actually be an economic indicator that would worry us. But there's no data that shows us that that's going to be the case. But if that happens, we will act accordingly. So again, we're just coming up on the election. No matter what happens as a result of this election, about half the population of the country is going to be unhappy. Because that's just how divided we are as a country. And you can, point to, well, there's millions more on one side than on the other. But in a country of over 300 million people, 1 million, 2, 3, 4, or 5 million people is a 1% difference. It's not that big of a difference when you consider, that it's going to basically be 49, 51. It's going to be a 50-50 split. So with half the country unhappy, my hope for the equity markets and for our economy is that once the election's over, is that whoever's not on the winning side is that we'll just take a more sort of measured approach. And if your side didn't win, then do what you need to do so that you have a better argument for the next election. That would be best for our country and for our economy. And I apologize for what sounded like a political message there, but I just want the economy to do well, and I want the markets, of course, to do well. And I sort of need people to have some calmer heads in the coming years in order for that to happen. Now, one last thing on a personal note. My wife and I have now been sort of extracted from our home as the mitigation company comes in and tries to address the smoke and ash damage. We'll probably be out of the house for maybe 6 to 8 weeks. Right now we're in a hotel, but hopefully we can get that upgraded to a house condo thing here shortly. But while all this is going on, I'm still in the office 5 days a week, 6:30 a.m. to roughly 5 p.m. So if anybody has any questions about this, anything about their personal financial affairs, their investments, retirement, or they just need somebody to chat with, please feel free to call me. I am always here. So again, we're coming up on the election. Just take a deep breath. And if you're not on the winning side, just relax and work harder for the next election, because that's what democracy is all about. That was your update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, give us a share, and I'll be back again soon with another Uncommon Sense update. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to be the first to hear of more Uncommon Sense updates like these, please click the subscribe button below. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again.